Hey everyone, Toddlers here, and it's the third episode of my self-produced podcast about the life of Ukrainian immigrant comic in Canada. My sponsors today are my anger, hate, and devastation, but if you want to support me, you can probably subscribe on my Buy Me a Coffee and join those three gentlemen. Just open my Linktree link in my bio for more details, and yeah, thank you. Okay, let's roll. I want to talk about the story that inspired me of thinking about the comedy in general and here in the form of the craft and art. I've seen the story of one of the Toronto comics. He was just posting about how hard it is to make it in here. He's doing that for 10 years. And actually there's a lot of comics complaining about how hard it is and how clubs don't value them. Yet they devalue themselves in the pursuit of success. They're busy feeding the room cheap material. That's what I'm talking about. Someone recently tried to explain to me that being a comedian is a profession with its own code and craft. Well, if it's a profession, then I'm already fired, Or at the very least, I don't have a license because I don't know how to do the comedy. I haven't learned anything. It's a big deal. I used to do it a long time ago, and I knew a couple of formulas. We have that all. But the thing is that it's your own craft. There is no certain algorithm that will help you to blow up the whole thing. I mean, to be great and to do whatever you would like. And I believe that creativity can be split into craft and artistry. We can take, for example, baking. Yeah, baking. So there is ordinary toaster bread, and it's just the hack observational humor. It's convenient. It's factory-made, odorless, cheap, prepackaged, and sliced. It's made exclusively, so you can toast it and eat it with whatever you want. But bread from a real bakery, that's different. It has an aesthetic that costs money. First, it's made by a human, not a machine. Second, it's full of things that average person finds unacceptable. I mean, yeast, gluten, calories, high price, carbs, whatever. How would you call that? But the thing is, for some reason, that is the bread people remember as a real sensory experience. You're just going into that bakery, breathing in that smell, and you're like, I want that bread so hardly. There is no feeling about the toasted bread like that. Yes, is it edible? Yeah, absolutely. But it's just the beautiful picture and convenience. That's what I'm trying to say. And if the bread represents the jokes, then the comedian is either a shitty toaster or a simple frying pan with oil on it. And let me get it straight. If your toast burns in a toaster, you blame the toaster. But the toaster doesn't give a fuck. It was just performing its function. It has no brain. But if you start cooking yourself and you burn your bread to a crisp, that's on you, exclusively. The toaster is just an executor. You just set it for 3 minutes and it will toast for exactly 3 minutes, even if the bread has already turned into charcoal. It doesn't think, it just runs the program. I've seen a bunch of comics going out on there, they are calling that shaping and polishing material. But I understand they are doing that because they are so desperate for laughs. They have one memorized set and they deliver it from start to finish, ignoring whatever is actually happening in the room. Or sometimes not ignoring, but they are actually lost in that. But they are trying to control the chaos. But at some point, you can't do that. But when you cook in a pan, we are getting back to that analogy of bread, But when you cook in a pan, you care about the temperature, the oil, the exact moment to flip it. You feel the timing, and if you overhit, it burns. If you underhit, it's raw. That's the law. That is live comedy. You aren't just outputting text, you're managing the temperature of the room. And if you fuck up, it's not the timer at fault. It's your lack of control. That's what I'm trying to say. Then I realized that the first draft leads me to the next one, and I guess now I'm entering the most dangerous zone in the comedy community. I'm gonna talk about these stand-up classes offered to everyone in the city. It seems every club has a student program promising to teach you how to write jokes and be funny. But is it actually education or just a set of expensive crutches for your career? Comedy gurus have a very specific interest called monetizing their talent or their experience if the talent is missing. And you know what? That's fair. I can deal with that. In this world, no one will teach you how to even hold a shovel for free. These courses offer the basic survival kit. Just keys to the community, writing techniques, and guaranteed stage time. And of course, those formulas that you're trying to write the joke with. And that's why beginners avoid the hard way. You know, it's like exercise. Why go for a grueling run outdoors when you have money and want to be surrounded by fancy people? You just buy a gym subscription. The irony is, these students have all the perks, but no idea why they're even doing comedy. And the answer for me is simple. They are paying for social approval. I see hundreds of comics performing jokes based on the formulas of the Comedy Bible, and that book costs $35. But they've been talked into paying $400 to have someone read it to them. Congratulations, guys. You just voluntarily financed your first professional scam. The second delusion is the feeling that you've made it after 2 good sets at a packed venue. But that room wasn't packed for you. You bought a backstage pass, not a career, I think. Remember, proximity to the stars doesn't make you a celestial body. It just makes you a groupie with a notebook. They might laugh at your jokes or love you as a person, but they won't even remember your name when you eventually fail. And you will fail. Trust me, I'm failing all the time. They don't remember my name. But the most pathetic part is the free labor trap. Club owners hide behind fake smiles while managing the venue's schedule with an iron fist. They let comics work for free, mopping floors, checking codes, running the door, all for a few measly minutes of stage time. Why do they do it? Because they've read too many memoirs of legendary comedians. I mean, not the actually owners of the venue, but like those one who tries to do that. Why comics are writing for that? Yeah, they read too much biographies of legendary comedians. They are desperate to have the same struggling artist line in their own future memoir. Spoiler alert, you won't have an autobiography. You're just unpaid help at a factory that doesn't know you exist. Or no, but still unpaid. I've been offered these classes twice with a huge special discount, and they mistook my lack of interest for desperation. But they didn't realize that their discount was actually a confession of their own poverty. To be clear, I'm not against learning. I attend improv classes myself to study the mechanics behind the curtain and see how the local comedy kitchen operates. I'm just against the hypocrisy hidden behind the smiles of club owners and the illusion of power that comes with owning the stage. This is where quality meets the assembly line. And in this city, the assembly line always wins. Listening to this episode, you probably will think that I'm just an envious kid and whatever, but I am a kid. And it's funny how we all rush to grow up just to do adult stuff, but emotionally, we're all stuck at age 5. Look at the Canadian job market and service industry. Everyone is so terrified of upsetting someone or telling the truth. Instead, they just play the endless game of responsibility ping pong. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me check with my supervisor. Let me ask my manager. Mom, can you help me? I wish that you would have that service even after death, you know? Like, oh, sorry, we're so sorry to hear that you died. Please hang on the line. I need to speak to my manager to clear up your situation. We're sorry for inconvenience in our purgatory. Are you legally authorized to go to heaven? I am so terrified of dying and realizing that I need to get my heavenly work permit for 3 years. Then I need to apply for PR, and maybe if there's not gonna be change, I can apply for the heaven citizenship. Imagine the nightmare for the atheist like me. You're dead and you find yourself in the Paradise branch of Service Ontario. And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my SIN number. Please don't send me back to Oshawa. We're pathetic, you know, we're just tall toddlers with a dental plan. No wonder hockey is the national sport in here. It's the only place where a Canadian is legally allowed to punch someone in the face of being a disappointment. And even hockey players also have the dental plan somehow. I don't. I'm not accusing everyone just for fun. I'm a child too. I still believe in my own version of a fairy tale. I believe that talented people succeed, that justice exists, and that my rich distant aunt actually DM'd me on WhatsApp to leave me her fortune. The problem is that unconsciously we've built the ultimate delusional conspiracy theory. Forget about Pizzagate, forget about Epstein files, forget reptilians. The biggest lie we ever told ourselves is that the world is kind. And I wish I could be like every single comic in Toronto, like talking about those like average life things. But the only thing that left for me to talk about is the life of an immigrant, and you may hate me or ignore me or just be sad because I don't want to stay quiet about the whole situation and I like don't like your country, but it is what it is. So let's talk about Tim Hortons. For example, I wish I would be the average Canadian comic who talks about the shitty taste of Tim Hortons coffee. But I think it's easy to mock something that won't answer you back. And I think that coffee is okay. I don't think it's funny to roast what is already roasted, but no one looks behind the counter. I'm speaking about low income, immigrant labor exploitation, harassment, and tons of sugar to distract you from those problems. You know what I mean? Damn, even that Tim Hortons roll up to win contest literally has those prizes to get your attention. Win a car, win a TV, win a coffee, win a special prize, diabetes. Just roll it up and there you go. See you at your blood test. Thanks God I'm sugar-free now. And as sugar is distracting you from that shitty taste, you're distracted by the jokes about it, from your shitty life. And let me tell you the truth. If your life is shit, your coffee is gonna be shit. Sorry for a little bit of dark roast in here, guys. It was a Draftful Dodger. I'll see you next Wednesday on 7 p.m. Join me and support me on Buy Me a Coffee. Follow me on social media. Or just hate me silently. Keep it to yourself. I'm not gonna keep my opinion to myself. See ya when I'm looking at you.
In a white room with black curtains near the station.